seventh transaction. What is that?
Goods of rupees 200 received as a free sample.
Okay. Put your pens down, everyone. Now, what is this concept? Understand it. Goods received as free samples. I explain it in detail. Okay. So, Janvi, come on the stage. Fennel, come on the stage. And Prachi, come on the stage. Okay, now listen everyone. Suppose you come in between and you come this way. Now, suppose assume that Prachi is a toothpaste manufacturer. Okay, let us say Prachi toothpastes, and with all the salt, pepper inside that. So a fantastic toothpaste manufacturer, and she is a new manufacturer. So she wants to give some samples to the people and try it first. And after they try it out, if it is successful, then she will launch the product in the market. He is a provision shop owner. In between, he is a provision shop owner. So normally, how do the manufacturers distribute their samples? Not for sale, but how do they distribute it? What is the channel through which they distribute? No, through the provision shop owners. How do they distribute it? Through the shop owners, through the supermarkets, through such various intermediaries in between, they reach the customer. She is not going to directly go to the doorstep and say, you try my toothpaste. How does she reach to the customers or consumers? Through such channels in between. And let us say that Janvi is a consumer. She is fed up of her normal toothpastes and she wants to try something new. So Prachi gives some 100 quantities of samples to Fennel, shop owner. And he is supposed to give it through various customers. Okay, and not for sale as it is mentioned. He cannot sell it. He has to give it free of cost. Small toothpaste. 2 times you can do it, that's it. After 2 times if you like it, you'll have to buy. So a small sample is given. Okay. Whose expense is basically involved here? Prachi. Whose money is involved? Prachi. Okay. For Prachi, it's an economic transaction. For Prachi, it is an economic transaction. For the other 2 people, it is not economic. Is Fennel's money involved anywhere? No. He will first receive the samples from Prachi. That is not economic transaction. Same, he will pass it on to customers, Janvi and various other customers. That is also non-economic because it is not his own goods which he is giving as free samples. He has received samples from the manufacturer which he is further passing on as free samples. So for him also it is non-economic transaction. And for the final consumer who is receiving it as a free sample, no money is involved. For him also it is a non-economic transaction. For whom it is an economic transaction? So you remember 3 things. If goods are given as free samples, your own goods, then it is an economic transaction. Repeat. Own goods are given as free samples, it is economic transaction. If you receive goods as free samples, he is also receiving the free sample, she is also receiving them. If you receive goods as free samples, it is non-economic transaction. And she is giving her own goods as free samples, so it is economic. If you are giving the samples what you have received as free samples, then also it is non-economic transactions. Your own goods you give as samples, it is economic transaction. But you receive the free samples and you pass it on to the consumers, that is also non-economic transaction. What is given in that 7th transaction? Received is always non-economic transaction. Your money is not involved. Any confusion in this? No. I'll write down these 3 points in your notebook somewhere. Is the camera's angle proper changed? Proper. Write down in your notebook as an important note. Yes. Shall I read it? Tell them note 1. Goods given as free samples. Here what do we assume? Whose goods are given? Your own goods. So goods given as free samples is an economic transaction. Just now the example I gave you, this one is from whose point of view? Prachi, manufacturer's point of view. Goods given as free samples is an economic transaction. Any doubt in that? Second note, goods received as free samples is, yes, non-economic transaction. Okay. And third, goods received as free samples and the same given as free samples and the same given as free samples is also non-economic transaction. Any confusions in this? All are clear with that? So this was there in your illustration homework. Goods received as free samples is a non-economic transaction. And remember all the three. Only if you give your own goods as free samples, it's an economic transaction. If the goods received as free samples are further given as free samples, it will again be a non-economic transaction. Any other doubts in the homework? Yes.
3,000 paid to Star Agency for advertising.
So it's an expense. Cash transaction. Advertisement is an expense. If you're paying it for advertisement, third rule, expense, income and settlement will always be a cash transaction. It is a cash transaction because advertisement is an expense. Okay. Any other doubt? Yes. 15. What is the transaction period? A settlement. Cash transaction. Third category. You are issuing means giving Lakshmi Ben the check and for the dues. And the word check is given. So it's a cash transaction. Bank balance will decrease. Any other doubts? Sixth one. What is the sixth one? Cash transaction expense. Insurance premium is an expense. An expense is always a cash transaction. Paid means the cash will decrease. Yes, any other doubts? All are clear with this? So today we'll be taking up with something different, something advanced level in the accountancy. Okay? What is the most famous junk food you eat? Pizza. And pizza is the origination of Italy, right? And Congress Party's president Sonia Gandhi. Who said that? She is also from origination of Italy. And our accountancy is also the origination of Italy. Okay? I have discussed this earlier also with you. Okay? Italian mathematician. Italian mathematician Luca Pacioli or Pacioli, the pronunciation he only knows correctly what is it. So not Luca, Luca Pacioli. Okay, he gave birth to a system called double entry book. Yes, silence. Double entry bookkeeping system of accountancy. Okay, he gave the concept of double entry bookkeeping system of accountancy. And it's a nature's law that everything generally comes in couple only. For example, how many legs do you have? How many hands do you have? Eyes, ears. Same way all the transactions. Yes. Nose is one, but pores are two. So it is a normal and natural law. Generally, the things come in pair. So why not the transactions also? All the transactions which we come across. Yes, what is going on? No commenting in between, please. Whatever transactions take place in business, that also have two effects. Whatever transactions take place in business, they also have two effects. Therefore, the name of system is double entry bookkeeping system. Those two effects are called debit and credit. The two effects in accountancy are called as debit and credit. In brief, they are abbreviated as DR and CR. Now this is a big mystery. Why DR? A doctor and proctor, nothing like that. Why DR and CR is a big mystery? Because credit is understandable. It starts with CR. So CR, but where is R in debit? Many times your teachers will ask you this question also in school, and they'll say, take one day and find the answer. Try to inquire from your teachers' books, Google it and try to find it out and come. Why debit is DR and why credit is CR? There is a mystery, there is no reason for it. Next day when you go to the school, whatever answers you give, she will say all are wrong. And when you ask her or him what is the correct answer, that also she will not tell. Because no one knows except Luca Pacioli. The reason has died along with him. Why he has given the abbreviations DR and CR, no one knows. But there is a logical reasoning which you can provide to your teachers, which again they will not accept. That is, you can say DR stands for debit record and CR stands for credit record. Because what is the first step of accounting? Recording. So if you make any record on the debit side of account, it is called debit record. If you make any record on the credit side of accounting, it is called credit record. Okay, but that is my origination. It's a concept given because why DR and CR, there is no other valid reasoning for the same. So it is not a valid answer, there is no answer practically possible for the same. Okay. Practically when we make an account, it is in T format. T format means it has two equal sides. The left side is called debit side and the right side is called credit side. In detail about this we'll see after 2-3 periods, but initially we will practice only 100 transactions on understanding what are the two effects for each of them. You will be given a separate worksheet extra for that, but coincidentally there is an electricity failure in the shop, so it has not come. Today I'll dictate you some transactions, tomorrow you'll get the worksheet, and if it comes by the end of the period, then I'll get it. Okay, so initially today we will start and understand the two-fold effects of transactions. Okay, give the heading in your notebooks. Two-fold effects of transactions. So remember this as a universal law. Since everything comes in pair, everything comes in couple, then why not the transactions? So every transactions also we have two equal and opposite effects. One effect is called debit, the other is called credit. But exactly what is debit and credit, we'll see it in later stages. Okay. Meaning I can make you write right now. So below that give the heading debit. Read that? Debit means the left side of an account. Okay? Do that credit.
Right.
Credit means the right side of an account. Full stop. Next paragraph. They are denoted as DR and CR. They are denoted as DR and CR. But as I said, today we are not going to study debit and credit in detail. We are just going to practice and understand the twofold effects of various transactions. Okay. So today we will see one aspect to that. You can give the heading worksheet 1. And as a worksheet 1, you can remember that normally whenever we give effect 1 right now, it will include two effects will be given. So right now try to identify in the way I am telling you. Effect 1 will include something will come in the business. Effect 1 you will try to identify something will come in the business, and effect 2 you try to identify owner is the giver. Presently we start with these two effects. Something will come in the business, because when you start the business you bring something in the business, so something will come in the business. And who starts the business? So owner is the giver. Presently two effects we will identify on these lines only. Our effect 1 will always be something comes in. Effect 2 will always be owner is the giver. More aspects to that we'll see once we start practicing. So, it is now clear. Shall I start with it? So right now whatever transactions I am telling you, first effect you will identify something comes in, and second effect you will identify owner is the giver. Is everyone clear with that? Okay. Lakshmi, whenever it comes you should not say no. So let us start with who all are still writing it. Completed. Anyone still writing it? So write down the first one, transaction. Later on when you get the pamphlets, then there is a space in the pamphlet itself to answer it. So whatever we are writing in the notebook, you can copy it down again in the pamphlet later on and we'll continue in that itself. Okay? And in notebooks we'll solve only the textbook questions later on. So transaction 1, write down Avani started business with, please don't talk in between, no noise in between, with cash rupees 15,000. Avani started business with cash rupees 15,000. Now put your pens down. Effect 1. As I said, presently we practice the questions. When effect 1 will be something comes in. Avani starts business with cash. So we will say cash comes in the business, affects cash account. If cash comes in the business, the name of account which will get affected is cash account, because cash comes in, so cash account. And effect 2 will be, who is bringing this, starting the business means owner. Owner is the giver. Now whenever owner brings something in the business and owner is the giver, the name of account will always be capital account. We'll never say owner's account, we'll always say capital account. What is the meaning of capital we studied?
Any form of
Any form of cash or goods or assets brought by the owner in the business. Owner is bringing this, so it is called capital. So remember one thing throughout the subject, not throughout the chapter, throughout the subject. Whenever owner is the giver, the name of account will always be capital. So cash comes in cash account, but owner is the giver, don't say owner's account. You say capital. Owner is like the father of the business, papa of the business. Okay, for example, Aaron, what is your father's name? Ramesh. What do you call him at home? Papa or Ramesh bhai. Same way, owner is the father of the business, so we will never call it as owner.
capital.
Like what word we use at home for father? Same way, what word we use for owner in the business? Capital. Wrote it, Papa account. Capital account. As at home, the adjective used is Papa. At business, the adjective used is capital. Okay? For Papa capital, for Mummy drawings. Remember it. Is everyone clear with this? So whenever owner is the, what is the name of account you'll call it as? Capital. You'll give respect to the owner by calling him as capital. And if you write owner's account, then that will be disrespectful. Marks will be deducted for that. So you not write owner's account, you write capital. Is everyone clear with it? So first we'll practice 4-5 such transactions where something will come in, like cash comes in, affects cash account. And always right now practicing with the transactions where owner is the giver and the name of account will be capital. Any confusion in this? Note it down. All of you are clear with this? One more I'll explain you, then I'll ask. From next onwards I'll ask you. So one more I'm explaining you, the third one onwards I'll ask you. And fourth and fifth you'll come here. So, raise your hand who is still writing this. Completed, right? Anyone else still writing it? Get down. Avni started business with furniture rupees 5,000. Okay, now effect 1. Listen carefully. As I said, right now we do with the transaction where something comes in. Here she started business with, so cash comes in. Here she started business with, so furniture comes in. And one more thing, when cash comes in, affects cash account. Now when furniture comes in, will affect furniture account. Now when furniture comes in, will affect furniture account. Yes, Penil? Any confusions in this? So write effect 1. Furniture comes in, affects furniture account. Yes?
You can write asset.
Yes.
No. Asset is a very broad category and we have to be specific now when we write the name of account. For example, cash is also an asset. Cash is also an asset, it is current asset, but we write cash account. So now when we are going to accountancy, assets is one of the term and there are various types of assets. We need the details in our business. Which assets do we have? So you need to mention furniture. Any confusion in this? And effect to same, who is starting the business again? Owner. So same effect to owner is the giver. Affects capital account. Did you understand this question, everyone? Raise your hand who is not clear with this. All are clear with it? So right now we take up with the transactions where first effect will be something comes in the business affects that something account. Whatever thing comes in. And effect 2 right now will be owner is the giver affects capital account. Okay. Third one. Started business with goods. Rupees 3,000. Parthiv, first effect.
Goods come in.
Cash comes in. Furniture comes in. Goods account or stock of goods account. Either you call it as goods account or you call it as stock of goods account. Both are correct. Is everyone clear with it? So right, goods comes in. Affects stock of goods account. You can also write goods account. Okay? Any confusion in this?
Sir,
Yes.
we cannot write in furniture goods, sir.
No. Furniture is not goods. What is the meaning of goods? Any item in which you do your business is goods. Furniture is goods only for furniture mart owner. If you are a businessman suppose you are a cloth merchant, then for you garments are goods. If you are a stationery shop owner, then for you stationery is goods. Goods means those things or items in which you do the business, which you regularly buy and sell. If you are a furniture mart owner, then furniture is goods for you. But we don't assume that every business is a furniture business only. So normally furniture comes in assets. And for you presently in the transaction the word goods will be mentioned. Whichever item you are doing the business in, for that the word goods will be mentioned. Is everyone clear with this? And effect to with. Yes, owner is the giver, affects capital account. So all of you are able to understand this? Any doubts in that? 2 transactions you will try on your own. I am dictating to you, write down. Brought, B-R-O-U-G-H-T, not bought, it is brought, okay? Brought. Bought means you are purchasing, brought means who will bring? Okay, so the word is brought. Machinery of rupees 20,000 in the business. Leave 3 lines for writing the answer. Write one more transaction and try both on your own. Brought vehicles of rupees 40,000 in the business.